Hi all, it's me, the glamorous rebel, here today. Blogging takes time, it takes energy, and there's a lot of these things that I wish I didn't have to talk about that I feel forced to talk about because I don't hear anyone else in Barbados talking about them. And it's a very difficult situation here in Barbados, especially for a black nappy-headed woman like myself. I want to talk on a couple topics today. The first topic, I'm doing a review of the iQueen Festival. I'm sure this might be the first time most of you all are hearing about it because it was not properly advertised. However, I think that the organizers need to realize that customers matter. The thing I would like to talk about is this idea that we have as women that the good men are gone, which seems to make us hate other women whenever we see them in a relationship and it looks like it's going somewhere. Because this whole blog really is about us, black women especially, but women in general, queens in general, because all women can be queens if they choose to be, coming together, loving one another, supporting one another, and being kind to one another. It seems we have a theory that comes from a lack of self-love. And the theory is basically that if someone is like me, they can't be anybody. And you know, this is a real hard thing for a person like me, because when I see someone and they look like they're trying to progress, I see a black woman with a dream, I feel like I must support that. You know, I do so many things, but I do them because number one, I can afford to do them. You know, I have supportive family, supportive husband, and the second reason is because I work really hard, you know. So it's funny to me when you're doing so many things, you have these concepts of other people and saying, well, let me help these people because I see myself in these people. But the truth is that these people may not be anything like you at all. All that glitters is not gold. Everybody that looks like a diamond is not a diamond. Some of them are so cubic zirconian. You just don't know what you're going to get with people. Now, I spoke to the organizer about promoting my book at the event and about having my brand, the Arts Line, come through at the event by supporting authors. We ended up deciding that I would pay for a table, even though I was planning to do the Art Line. I paid for a table and I was going to have different authors come and read so that I could support their books along with my own book. And we were going to do a couple segments in the lineup because there was this whole lineup of artists that were supposed to be performing. And my thing was, even though I felt like this isn't going to advertise properly though, every time I mention it to someone, it's the first time they're hearing about it. I said, but there's so many artists there that even if I can just take some pictures, put it on my social media and use it to push my book, I think it will be good, because so far my book reviews have been very good and the response to the book has been very strong, and it's something that I really believe in, so I want to continue to push it. You know, eventually she did come. She collected my money, 250 Barbados dollars, and I promised to hand in my forms, which I got my mother to do in Bridgetown. Now, after I paid, I was then later informed by the organizer that even though you're paying for the smallest size table, no tables or chairs will be provided. You need to bring them for yourself. I thought to myself, what sort of foolishness is this? The event is in Queen's Park. The only thing that she should be providing is the table and chairs to tell you what sort of size table and chairs you can bring. But I just said, all right, because I have things. I've done all sorts of expos, baking and pastry, wedding expos. I've done several expos, being an entrepreneur and being in the catering business for a long time. You know, so, you know, the ones at Sherburne Center and whatnot. I was originally planning to sell cupcakes at that event. I decided against it because I wanted to carry my baby with me, and if I had cupcakes, it would mean I would have to hire a staff member, basically who had a health certificate, to sell them for me. Especially because I'm also going to be hosting the thing, I'm going to be talking about the book. I don't have time to be doing all these things, I thought, because I thought people would be at the event, obviously. Let's fast track to 2 days before the event. The organizer called me and said she would really like me to do cupcakes because there's going to be a lot of children there and she thinks it makes sense. I then decided, okay, well, maybe the cupcakes, you know, since all now I feel like nobody ain't really going, but I already pay my money, because every time I talk to somebody now, you know, there's a couple weeks after I pay, I ain't hearing nobody know about this event. I ain't hearing nothing about it on the radio. I just ain't hearing about it, you know. I talked to my the guy who runs Beijing Tube and asked him about just letting her know how the prices work and whatnot, because everybody knows that if it's hot, it's going to be on Beijing Tube. You know, especially in a certain age group. I even told her, you know, at the end of the day, young people are people. So even if you feel like Beijing Tube target market is young, those people live in a household with older people. You want it to be a household name because it's a festival. You know, similar to how Barbados Reggae Festival, whether you go or not, whether you like the organizers or not, you know about the event, you know it exists, and you know when it's going to happen. Anyway, around that time, couple days before the event, well, maybe like a week before, I had found out that the tickets for the event were $50 per person and $80 for the weekend. I told some people about the event. When they found out the price, they were asking me if this is seriously the price, and if this means that if you're not coming to see people perform, if you still have to pay that just to come see the vendors. I asked the organizer about it, to which he said maybe this will clarify it for them, and sent me the poster via WhatsApp. So clearly she meant this is what it is, don't ask me nothing. Everybody knows that once a Bajan person pays $50 to go in somewhere, you understand, especially, you know, somewhere that has vendors, it's going to limit the vendors' selling ability, because if a person has to pay so much money already, they're not going to be looking to just buy things they don't really need, that they just, you know, you go out to see what's being sold, but you might not buy anything. But, you know, I said at the end of the day, it's good promotion for my book still, because of all these artists that are going to be there. 2 days before the event, she asked me about doing these cupcakes. I said to myself, well, probably she doesn't have anything like cake being sold and she thinks it's important. So, silly me, thinking that this was a proper event, bung and called the inspectors at Sir Winston Scott Polyclinic. He said, hi, I'm doing an event in Queen's Park. Are you guys the inspectors that would deal with that? Because I know it's in Bridgetown. Yes, we are. What's the event? It's called the iQueen Festival. I know about that. What's that? What's the iQueen Festival, man? I said, well, it's a festival I'm doing. I would like some permission for some cupcakes. It's on Saturday. I really apologize, but I do have my health certificate or whatnot. Can I come down? Would you please give me the thing? The lady said, if you come down today and sign up, I'll find out about the event. Once I have all the paperwork there and the event is fine, I will sort you out. I said, thank you so much. I took my 3 children and my assistant. We were doing some work. I gone down there. Spend my gas, had to end up buying lunch when I was planning to cook lunch. All sorts of things. I gone on there. I filled out my form. The woman said, she hadn't heard about the event, so I started to get nervous. I said, well, ma'am, is there a reason why you haven't heard about the event? She said, yeah, probably because the event is now. That means that months ago the person would have applied and somebody else probably dealt with it, and all the other people would have already brought in their forms and stuff weeks before you, so you don't worry about it. Come back tomorrow afternoon and I will give you the permission, because it's just cupcakes. I will sort it out. The next afternoon, I get him ready to call to make sure that my form is there to go and collect it. I get a call on my phone. Hello, Selena Dodson. I said, hello, good morning. This is the person. I said, yes, this is Selena Dodson. Ma'am, you're the organizer of this event. I said, you mean the event that I asked for the permission for the cupcakes for? Yes, ma'am. I said, no. The organizer for the event's name is And the guy said, well, I don't know nothing about this event. So could I have the organizer's number, please? I gave him the number because I figured at this point, if the inspector don't know about the event, all the food vendors going to be in Bear Potter. And I also then messaged her and allowed her to know that I have given the inspector the number. The inspector even told me, you know, okay, thank you, he got through, and that I would not be, that he doesn't know what's going to happen with this event. He was kind of vague, but given the impression that I was not going to be able to get my cupcake paper. Okay, After not hearing anything for the rest of the day, I ended up messaging the organizer. I said, I ended up rushing to town for this thing, all sorts of things. I had to buy the ingredients. I'm not hearing anything. There's no apology from this woman, okay? There's no, well, I'm really sorry it's like this. Even she wrote and said she was at the Ministry of Health. Then she wrote back and said, with me asking, of course, well, hi there again. Any updates? She updated me with, long story short, pack a picnic basket and a cooler. So I wrote back and I said, well, I really wasn't, prepared to do this, and, I'd already said that, you make me good time with my kids and all sorts of things. You need to apologize. She did have that apology saying the girl who worked for her didn't do what she was supposed to do. When you're doing a festival, you need to have people involved on a team that you can trust, that know that they're either a partner in this thing or being paid properly out of this thing. And as the organizer, 2 days before the event is the only time now that you come to realize that nothing they do as far as the inspectors? Or is the truth that because the event was in a more secluded location before, you never really bothered to tell the inspectors anything? Is the truth that you didn't actually know that you were supposed to get this level of permission? That is what I'm trying to figure out. That is what I'm trying to figure out. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. The point is that the inspectors didn't know. And the whole food segment of the event was shut down. Rather than her postponing the event, writing a letter and explaining to everyone involved that there wasn't going to be any food, because obviously you as the vendor expected to buy food. She had on the form all these different types of food that could be sold: snow cone vendor, coconut. When you read this form, you think this thing is going to be so fantastic. You're not coming with lunch, you're coming to buy lunch. Rather than tell people there's not going to be any food. Also, this event is 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So, if you live in the lifestyle that I live, you need to eat at least 4 times within then. Right? At least 4 within that time. You understand? You would have to have been planning your meals way in advance. She told nobody anything. Fair enough. I start to get annoyed because I said to myself, I'm not seeing the sort of attitude that you should see. Why is this event still going on? Anyhow, I had my different authors coming through, One was even a NIFCA judge, right? I invited the man as per her request. People take the bus fare and come down there. Okay, morning of the event, I took my cool time, clean my house and thing first before I even leave home, because I didn't know that I didn't get down there early for nothing. Put on my dress, take up my little baby and the little couple bucks I had, and I gone on the road expecting at least for something to happen. All right, now, when we get down the road, I decide I ain't even taking my chairs on my table. Of course, it's a big table because that's the size table I have, and you can't expect me to go and buy a table so that because I pay for a small table, I would only have a small table. You need to provide that as the organizer. Just being clear here, just in case anybody didn't know, When I get on there now, that's the emptiest I ever see Queen's Park Drive, and bare security. Bare security at the gate. What is your name? Blah blah blah. People searching people and got them little taser things with that lighter. I don't know what it's called, to see if you got metals all on the foolishness. I park and I walk up with my child and gone to look for where my space is. I only see 2 tents, right, with about 3 tables underneath them, and a couple little vendors that out there with a face looking dejected. The place empty, 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 empty. It could not be more empty if it was a vacuum. Then on top of it now, I see the organizer in the distance walking about. She's a nice looking woman, dressed well, You see, these things are strict here. Here I am, I'm spending my money with you. You see the event is empty. Nothing is really going to plan. You don't come and say nothing to anybody. You just go and you do your interview. You don't say nothing to nobody. But I couldn't understand? The woman said nothing to no one. 11 o'clock is the time I'm supposed to go on the stage. No one's there, no stage manager, no one to talk to me. One of my authors called me, said, listen, I come up there. I am planning to stop up there the whole day till they get people. I already put a van, I gone. Same author gonna call me back the night and say he saw the organizer talking about how great the event is gonna be on CBC News. You mean the same event that flopped? Let's not lie to the public. Okay, let's blame the rain. Yes, if the rain drizzled a couple times and thing. It didn't drizzle on anybody though, because I ain't had nobody in there. after an hour or so of waiting around and nobody coming and talking to me, and I'm not on the stage, the other authors, you know, just there knocking about, and me feeling bad because I'm gonna invite people, so that's my name on the line, I decided to leave. I left. I laughed at it by myself in my car with, well, not by myself, with the baby. I laughed because I say, you know what, Selena, see the comedy in this and let it go along, right? And the next morning, because it was a 2-day event, I had a missed call. I listened to the message, couldn't understand anything. It was her mumbling, blah, blah, blah. I guessed to myself, the event must be cancelled. When I look at my WhatsApp, one of my friends sent me a screen grab of a Facebook message saying the event was cancelled. No official email to the vendors or anything, just this 7 o'clock in the morning call. I was told by another vendor that the first day shut down at 5 p.m. when it was supposed to be going till 10 p.m. And what I'm saying to you is nobody went. I saw that people were supposed to be getting back their ticket money and whatnot. But I ain't hearing nothing about my money, just that the event canceled or something, so I can't understand his voice message. So I sent a message saying, good morning. I got your message, not really understanding it, but just let me know when I can collect my refund. Look at me, I had all these people involved. Nothing ain't happened. You sent me down the place, nothing ain't happened. You understand? You ain't dealing with me properly, and I hear holding on. But I said, all right, well, obviously she gotta give me back my money because the event totally flopped. You know, you did not do what you said you were gonna do. There was no customers. You didn't provide the customers for the vendors, so therefore the event didn't happen. Also, the first day did not go as planned. There was no performances. I heard one set of people perform, and that was probably just out of just planning for months or weeks to perform, and then just wanting to perform because there were little kids involved with this thing, all sorts of things. And the person replied, she didn't say good morning back to me. She just said, I will be in touch. The refund is 50%. I said, and I thought about all the things that had transpired, and about the fact that at this point, this woman feels that it's okay to just tell me, no, I'm sorry, but due to nothing, you know, because even Lime, you know, even Flo, sorry, does bullshit you, you know, nothing, you know, right? So you're supposed to say something, right? Because these are the people who supported you. No one else did. No one came to your shitty event. The only people that came to your event was these vendors. So these people deserve a little bit of respect from you, since they're the only people who actually saw you trying and decided to support you. There was a lady who told me she was not working. All sorts of things. People did what they had to do to gather this money to support you. And there's where you can tell me you will be in touch. What does be in touch mean? There's no date there. And the refund is 50%. I saw from one black woman to another, you make me feel ashamed. Who tell me say that? Who tell me say that? I can show you all the screen grab. Rebel, the only thing that you need to be ashamed of is the words that you say and the thoughts that you keep. She eventually come down to tell me, may the Almighty have mercy on my soul or not. From the time she said that, I start to wonder to myself, what sort of person believes in God and then tells people, may the Almighty have mercy on your soul or not? A person that's like a good person that believes in God and is actually trying to live a good life would never wish that on someone, especially not a person with 3 children raising, you know. But people that see me and they make their opinions about me, right? And people just think, when they don't know nothing about you, that is an idiot. We have a Bajan word. It's a B-C-U-N. Right? People just think you're a buff. You know? People just think that you're a fool. You know? Especially when you're nice. Especially when you come in a room and you're bubbly. Morning, everyone. Hi, how are you? You know, no one looks and sees the improper fractions that have to be divided in order for you to find yourself in a place where you feel able to still shine amidst all this darkness. No one sees that. Even though everybody gonna hate you for coming in this room and being kind, you still gonna do it, because that's the reality of the society that we live in. The better you are and the more that you try to do for yourself is the more people dislike you. After a week had passed, I sent her another message. My reason for messaging and not calling is simple. I've already given you money. You haven't given me back any. I've already spent excess money. I haven't been giving back anything. I'm not calling you and spending any money off of my phone. I like to keep money on my phone because it's a business phone, but I'm not spending it on you, especially not when you rely on WhatsApp to deal with people usually. So I sent her a message. Well, after she told me that hogwash about and then said, I say at the end, may God have mercy on my soul or not, I say, may the Almighty live, allow me to live to see the error of my ways in talking to her in this manner, the audacity of me. That's what this woman gonna tell me. This woman is no better than me. So I thought to myself for 2 seconds, and then I sent her a voice note because I want her to hear my voice. I didn't bother with this morning. I didn't bother with the writing back because sometimes people can take that how they want to take it. I don't mix matters. You know, I said, listen, from a while now I realized that you operated from a place of ego. So I'm not surprised at all that you're now using your ego and acting like this. But the truth of the matter is your event flopped, and now you owe enough people money, including me. So I expect you to get on like an idiot. As far as the part about God and me, look at my life and you will see that I am blessed, and you will look at yours and you will see your flaws. That's what I told her. Of course, I ain't gonna never hear she again. No. I sent her a very polite message. Good morning. It's a week. I haven't heard anything. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to tolerate any disrespect, you know, when it comes to my refund. No response. Yesterday will be 11 days now after the event. I get a call. Hi, Rebel, where are you? How can I get into contact with you? I said, well, I said, like, when? I mean, like, right now. I said, well, I am home. The woman comes to my house. I answer my phone. I spoke to her very nicely. When I get at the gate, she's still taking out half the money to give me. She's gonna say to me, I don't have any change, so you don't mind taking $126 instead of $125. To which I said, I took the money, I turned on, and I went back in my house and closed the door. And I heard her in the background saying, many thanks, huh? And I said to myself, this lady is delusional. Like, she see, no one has taken her and strangled her yet. No one has hit her in the ground for their money yet. So she's what about doing junk to people. So I need to do this blog. Because at the end of the day, that's not how you operate with your customer. It doesn't matter what you think about me. It doesn't matter what preconceived notion you have about Rebel Glam. Because the truth is, I've never done you anything. The only thing I've ever actually done is support you. Let's talk quickly, because I know I've been long this time in explaining about, you know, and if you need me to break it down for you, I'll just break down the issues on professionalism, not going to the proper authorities, saying one thing when a person signs up and then saying something else by the time that the person gets there. You're reading a form saying that you're allowed this size table, and then you're being told you're not being given a table. All sorts of foolishness this woman did. Totally unprofessional. And that's why her event flopped. Not because the grassroots things don't get support. Enough of the grassroots people don't even know about blasted things. And lots of grassroots people don't have a lot of money. So you have to be considerate and think about who your client base is when you want an event. But I done saying too much things because I would be giving out too much advice, and then people will actually want to come and use my advice to be better and don't thank me for it. Furthermore, tell me that may God have mercy on my soul or not. Okay, in other news, the good men are not gone, ladies, but we have spoiled men. We have ruined a lot of our men. You know why? Because in our desperation to get men, we don't take care of ourselves, and it's unattractive. Therefore, men use us and then move on. That's a lot, so I'll pause a second for you to digest it. The good men ain't gone. You have to bring out the goodness in the men around you, and the men around you have to bring out the goodness in you. But if we as women don't start it, it's not going to happen, because we're the ones who bear the sons. And if we bear sons for good for nothing men that aren't going to raise them, then we are the only example that child has of what a woman should be, and their father is their first example of what a man should be, which we now have to correct that example by trying to find positive role models that are male for that child. A lot of our mothers live that hot to trot life, then get children, and now because they're a mother, we grew up seeing them as an adult and as a role model, and we ain't no that this is how this woman really lives. And then when we find out, we almost feel as though, but if she could be like that, this is how it's supposed to be. That's why setting examples for children is so important. So I would encourage us women, you know, instead of always looking, every time we see a woman with a man and it look like it working out, we got an issue. You know, your issue is with yourself. How many men is a woman gonna have? How many women is a man gonna have? Focus on being happy, yo. Focus on your happiness. Stop looking at other people's life. They have their own trials to deal with. They have their own people telling them, may God have mercy on their soul or not, that they have to rebuke and still try to have a good day. But if we want the men to be better, we got to stick together, which they do a lot more sticking together than us, especially black women. We need to stick together more. Like how we say the white people stick together, or the Indians stick together, or the men stick together. What is happening with the queens? Where are they? For all the people that might watch this vlog, you know, everybody has their opinion, but I feel a lot better. It's cathartic for me to speak out about the bad things that happen to me, and there are so many. You know, I'll say this. If that lady had come to me and said, listen, I'm really sorry, I just can't afford to pay you back. She does other things. Maybe she could have offered me something, or that is one of her business things or something, just and cancel it out or whatever. I would have said yes. But she was so disrespectful to me that even when I told her I felt ashamed at the way she was behaving towards me, she cussed me instead of saying, at the end of the day, this is a client, blah, 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 let me deal with this professionally. So when you see people for years doing things and it's not coming off, sometimes it's actually them. If you want to have an event called I Queen, you need to queen. So my question is, I Queen, do you? Have a nice day. Keep shining. Love yourself more.